What is good? It's your boy Nav, and today we're going to be talking about blank wholesalers versus manufacturers. We're going to be giving the pros and cons, and I'm going to tell you what is best for, what type of designer or what type of brand in different, levels. So let's get into it. Got my notes. We're going to start off with blank wholesalers. We're going to start off with the pros. So pro number one, blank wholesalers, they have established silhouette. You can go on a blank wholesaler's website and browse all the options they offer. They have pictures you can use for your mock-up and as inspiration for designs. You can trust that this hoodie isn't going to show up with some fitting different from others, or having unfinished parts like, threads and stuff like that, just kind of like incomplete, because they've already tested and approved this blank. For this company, the blank is their end product, so it has to be finished, right? So this company, you know about this company because they make blanks. They wouldn't even be on your radar if they didn't make blanks. They're not trying something, they're not new to it, like they're doing this, right? Like they have the ability to sell a certain amount, and they have the licenses to sell that stuff. Like they have to get this stuff done. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to be on the P's and Q's, or it's over. Like you wouldn't even be hearing about them. You get me? Pro number two, quicker shipping times. Most blank wholesalers are domestic, meaning your shipping times will be lower, and so will your prices. Depending on where you live and which wholesaler it is you are also, looking at, you can do something called will call, right? You can do an option when it comes to like delivery. You can do will call, meaning you can make your purchase, make your order, then drive down to their warehouse and pick it up yourself. That could go crazy. So you could have like a drop coming up real quick, and you can just run down to the warehouse and grab 50 pieces or 100 pieces or however much you need. No shipping time, nothing. So if you live in Cali, it's like that. And I know people got warehouses in PA too. So if you live in those areas, boom, just get your pieces and it's over. I'm sure that's super convenient for a lot of different brands. Number three, no MOQ, right? So MOQ means minimum order quantity, right? And that is basically a limit, right? A certain amount of items you have to like buy to actually order with this person. Blank wholesalers, they don't normally have no MOQ. I've yet to see one with it. I think Shakaware is a wholesaler. They'll have like some of their more obscure items. You have to order 3. The minimum order quantity would be like 3. That is super low. Trust me. As far as MOQs go, that is incredibly low, because 3 is sample numbers anyways, right? You can buy one piece you like, design and print on it, wear it, test it, then shoot with it, right? Shoot a whole marketing campaign, all before committing a large amount of funds to do a drop. This is the bread and butter for me when it comes to why I use blanks. I just love the flexibility and the versatility of being able to buy my piece, right? Look at the pictures. They have high quality pictures on there. I see what it is. I buy it. I mean, I can design on it before. Like I can make the mock-up before I even get the piece. I get it. I can test it out. Okay, I like this one. I like that one. I don't like this one. I don't like that one. And the thing is, I buy it in my size. So even if I don't like it for what I like, what I need, I could still wear it. Like I could still give it away or wear it. You know what I mean? It's useful. I'm not wasting my money. You feel me? That's one of the main pros that makes me prefer the blanks route, at least for the stage that my brand is at now. That's one of the main things, just the ability to not have a minimum order quantity, being able to, and that right there, like that pro kind of goes to, like, there's actually another one. I'm gonna add a fourth one right now. It's not on the list, but I'm gonna add a fourth one right now. Ease of access. Wholesalers, you go on their website, you look at the stuff they have. Even if you don't have an account or like an EIN, and you don't make a wholesaler account, you can browse the stuff they make. You can see what it is. You might not be able to see the price. You might not be able to order yet, but an EIN is free. You get that. You get into their wholesaler account. Boom. You're working. The ease of access is definitely a lot more, I'd say, or is at least a pro in my opinion. And just the fact that you're working with a website, you pay your money with your card, and then you get your stuff. Like, it's very, very plug and play. But let's get into some of the cons, because it's not perfect. Brand similarity. Everyone that uses the same wholesaler as you will have the same hoodies or sweats, etc. It's going to be more important that you have a strong design and brand identity to stand out from your peers. So because everybody's getting the same type of shirt I'm getting, or getting the same, type of blank I'm getting, their stuff is gonna look like mine from the foundation, right? So now it's more important that, yo, I gotta actually design something. I gotta make something that stands out about my piece, and I can't just lean on the fact that, oh yeah, you know, it's a heavy hoodie. You know what I mean? I actually gotta design something on it that's not gonna make it look like every other brand, because if they use the manufacturer, if they use a wholesaler I use, it's gonna look like, you know, the same thing. If I put just my logo in a different spot, I mean at the same spot, the same popular spot everybody puts it, put it in white on a black piece, like it's gonna look the same. So you gotta do something, and it don't gotta be a lot. It could just be a slight change, right? That's a thing that nobody has done before. You're just gonna do something that's like, yeah, this is something you can look at to know that, yeah, that's inframed and it's not so and so, it's inframed. They're the one that does this. But that is a con though. The con that, okay, anybody else buying from here, y'all getting the same stuff. Extra steps, right? This is one of the cons that could really, oh, just change to the screensaver. Yeah, anyways. So yeah, this is one of the cons that can really make it that some people just don't like the blank route, and I totally get that. Extra steps, right? You will have to get your blanks printed on after receiving them. It takes more time, and it can end up costing more sometimes, depending on what style of printing or embroidery you might do, and depending on the complexity of the design. So if you got some crazy embroidery, like when you go to the printing shop, it's gonna cost you more, and it can end up being more expensive than, you know, the alternative option. So that's definitely another thing. It takes more time, but at the same time, I want to say that you kind of have like that control, because it takes extra steps. You're kind of in between those steps, so you can get it and be like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna print here, I'm gonna print there. You can get it, and you can be like, oh, you know what, I'm not gonna print here. You can get your blanks and then change your design, right? You could do one and then be like, you know what, I don't like how it looks, I'm gonna change this. So that it's a con on the fact that, okay, it is more work, but sometimes, like, you know, for some people that's going to be a pro. I feel like that's how Android phones are still selling, because, you know, it's kind of like a raw UI, and some people are going to appreciate that. Random segue. But anyways, con number 3, creative limitations. So you are limited to whatever your wholesaler provides. So if you want to make a scarf and you can't find the blank for it, you're right? So if you can't find that scarf, if you can't find like a wholesaler that makes a scarf, I remember I made the body bag hoodies. A lot of people are like, oh, where can I get body bag hoodies? If you can't find a leather jacket or like a biker jacket, you can't find, you know, cargos. I don't know a cargo wholesaler. If you know any, please let me know in the description. But I haven't found one, at least one worth using. You know, you're kind of in a tight spot. So, or you have to go the manufacturer route. So you're kind of limited to kind of what they offer you. People don't really think about that much, because, you know, most people are starting with like a t-shirt or a hoodie, and all of them sell t-shirts and hoodies, so you're not worried about that. But when your brand gets to a certain level and you want to start dropping certain stuff, like, you know, accessories, you know, what if you're an athletics brand and you need to drop like a sleeve, you get me, or you need to drop headbands and stuff like that, you're going to be limited unless you find a company that makes those blanks. And the company is only going to make blanks based off the popularity. So it's kind of herd mentality in a way, where it's like, yo, you kind of have to be going with what everybody else is going with, because that's what the wholesaler is going to sell, because at the end of the day, they're a business. So yeah, that's the cons for the blanks. Let's move on to manufacturers, the pros. Pro number 1, manufacturer. One-stop shop. They do everything for you. The average manufacturer is going to make the garments, print or embroider on them, make size tags, and even package them. Some people, you know, change the packaging when they get the garments, but realistically, you can start selling as soon as you get your package. You know, my boy, he started his thing with a manufacturer. That's Wrath. He did a manufacturer, and he made a bunch of pieces, and there was, you know, sweatsuits, sold them. You know, it was relatively fluid. Got his stuff, start selling them out the box. Simple. Definitely a time saver. Definitely in some ways is gonna cut costs, because you're doing everything in one place. You don't gotta pay twice. And because they're doing everything for you, like a manufacturer is gonna, like, they're able to charge you less, because they're making the, you know, the garments from scratch. They don't have to source them for you. They are the source. And then they're printing on them for you and embroidering them on for you. So they keep everything in-house, and that's always gonna be, you know, cheaper. Another pro number 2, unlimited potential, right? This is a big one. If you know what to ask for and how to ask for it, you can get anything made, right? Like literally anything at all. An established and experienced manufacturer will offer a wide range of fabrics and the ability to dye certain materials like cotton or fleece and stuff like that to any Pantone color you want. If you're very new to the clothing brand stuff, you might not understand how crazy that is, but being able to just completely get the exact color of what you want is a big deal. And any type of fabric you want, it goes crazy. They can use specific fabrics. You can get the cut you want. They can add specific features to, you know, to your pieces, and that all adds to like making your piece more special, right? So you can, if you want to add like a funky, if you want to like had like horns or something on your hoodie, I've seen that done before, or rhinestones, or you know, something. They can do all that stuff for you. They specialize in that stuff. They're gonna get it done. That's definitely one of the perks of going with a manufacturer. You just have to know how to ask for it, and how you ask for it is with a tech pack. So you got to learn how to make a tech pack, and a tech pack is basically a document, right? Usually 1 page, 2 pages. It could be longer than that depending on what, you know, how many items you're making, and it's usually made on Illustrator, even though I'm sure there's some psycho out there that makes it with something else, like Word document. Okay, not a psycho, but anyways, it's basically a diagram of like, okay, yeah, I want it to be this, and I want it to be this length, and I want it to be this color, and I want it to be this shape, and I want it to be this, that, and this, that, and it's basically a very specific document of exactly what you want. But yeah, if you know how to do that, definitely a manufacturer is probably like, it's like your Iron Man suit and your Tony Stark, and you just know how to use it. Third pro is individuality. Even if someone finds your manufacturer, unless they are using the same tech pack you're using, they will not get the same hoodies or anything you got, as long as it was custom made. So they won't get the same thing you got unless they got your tech pack. So your brand can maintain a stronger sense of individuality in a marketplace filled with a bunch of different brands every day. I'm not mad at that, but you have to also, you know, you can't be delusional. Like, there's brands popping up every day. It's definitely a trend now to just make a clothing brand. I'm never going to discourage anybody to make one. Definitely make one, because I think everybody's always going to need clothes, you know, and if you have like an idea that could make something different, definitely go crazy. To the people who are about to start or who are starting, you have to also know that you are part of like a herd right now. Right? Like, you're part of a herd. You have to figure out how you're going to stand out. So that's definitely something that you have to think about. What are you doing different? Are you just another brand with a name? Like, if you think your name is all you need to be different, bro, there's mad words. You have to actually do something different, because at the end of the day, nobody's buying your name. You get me? Like, you're selling physical stuff. So if somebody doesn't buy your stuff and they're like, oh yeah, you know, I got this and I love it. I got this and I wear it all the time. You're dead in the water. You're going to do two, 3 drops and you're going to be done. So you have to definitely be realistic with yourself and know that, yo, there's a bunch of other brands coming up right now. How am I going to stand out? And one of the pros of manufacturers is that as long as you give them an actual design and you actually do something different and not just say, oh, could you make me a hoodie this color? If you actually give them a different design, you're gonna be different, right? You're gonna stand out if it's good. I mean, you could stand out if it's bad too, but you don't want to stand out that way. Cons. Con number 1 for the manufacturers. Communication. There are a lot more domestic manufacturers popping up now, but there are more expensive, right? So they're more expensive. But when people say manufacturers, they usually mean the ones overseas in Pakistan or China. And while you can get great quality from both options, domestic or foreign, the margins from overseas are much better. However, communicating with overseas manufacturers can prove very difficult when you don't speak the language they do. If you ever hear people saying like, oh yeah, you can find manufacturers on Alibaba, you can find manufacturers there, they're talking about the Pakistani and the Chinese ones, right? And there's definitely manufacturers from other places. You could get manufacturers out of Italy. Like, there's manufacturers different places for different stuff. Portugal, France, England, like, you can definitely get manufacturers from other places depending on what you need to get done. But then also, those places are definitely also going to be more expensive. Regardless, even if it's France, which it's still more expensive, but your shit's going to be made in France. So, you know, I'd put that on everything, made in France. I'd put it on everything. Do you speak French, right? And yes, they might speak English, but in case of the Pakistani and the Chinese ones, even if they speak English sometimes, the accents are so thick, it's just harder to communicate. And you're gonna get it done, but it's just gonna take a little longer, and eventually you're gonna be like, this is annoying. Definitely a con in my opinion. And then second con number 2, large MOQs. So minimum order quantity is one of the main things that will stop a new or smaller brand from having access to the manufacturers that big brands use. It used to be that you wouldn't even know who those manufacturers are, but now you can find that information on the internet. However, just because you know the number to call doesn't mean you can place an order. MOQs from larger manufacturers can oftentimes start at 1,000 or even 10,000. So it'll be cheaper than what you expected, but it's cheaper than what you expected because you have to get 1,000 of them. So that's definitely one of the cons, you know, just that barrier to entry, just not being able to order even though they sell exactly what you want or they make exactly what you want. You just don't have the money to even get that stuff, and then if you do get that stuff, you might be at risk of not being able to sell it. So definitely it's a risk that, you know, people have taken, and if you are confident in being able to take that risk, by all means go ahead. But I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you the pros and cons and my experience of, you know, what I've learned with working with these different, you know, entities and stuff like that. Con number 3 for the manufacturers: shipping. Unless you're using a domestic manufacturer, shipping can become a big problem. It's international, so it usually takes a minimum of 2 weeks, but that's assuming the manufacturer shipped the package when they said they did. I'm always hearing shipments getting delayed from my friends that use manufacturers, and that can mess up their whole timeline. Because if your shipment's 2 weeks delayed and you had like a plan to get stuff made by then, you know that your printing house is going to take a week to get the stuff made. Now your printing house gets it a week or 2 late, then it gets printed a week or 2 late, then your studio was booked but you're a week or 2 late. Like, it could go so many ways. It can mess up so many things when your shipment's messed up. I gave you 3 pros and 3 cons. I'm not trying to like outweigh cons or anything like that. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to make one win. I'm just lining them up against each other, and then I'm going to tell you which is right for you, depending on who you are and where you are. I think if you're a smaller or new brand and you don't have a lot of capital, the blanks wholesaler route is the way to go. You can get one piece, see if you like it, try another blank if you don't, or continue to make a sample. If you do like it, then you can do a shoot with that sample, post it, and gauge the, you know, the reception you get, and then decide how many pieces you should make. So it's super safe to go that way, and not just safe, it's just smart, right? When you're starting, I think if you're a new brand and you're getting started, unless you're gonna do sweatsuits, because sweatsuits, it is normally better to get a manufacturer in my opinion, because you can get the pants and the hoodie at the same thickness, and you will get the same color. Right? So it kind of makes it pretty simple. But other than that, I would definitely go the blanks route, because you can find some high quality blanks. Subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna be talking about a bunch of different, you know, blanks manufacturers. You can use that, make your mistakes, make your errors, but you're already running off the backs of established silhouettes, so your brand can start off leaving good, you know, good impressions on people, instead of, you know, losing what could be day one to forever type customers. If you have the capital, right, and an established brand, or you have an idea that is too unique of an undertaking to use blanks, then manufacturers are for you. It's harder to find them, and you will have to learn how to, you know, make tech packs eventually, because you can also just be like, oh, can you make me a hoodie? And they'll just make you their basic hoodie, and it will just, you know, it's just a hoodie. But eventually, you know, to really reap the most out of a manufacturer, you are gonna need to learn how to make tech packs. I think it's best to start with blanks if you're completely new to the fashion scene. Then as your brand grows and your knowledge expands, you transition into more pieces with original manufacturers. So that's basically, you know, the meat of it. If you're new, I would vote blanks. That's just my opinion though. If you're more established, chances are that you already know how to make a tech pack, or you know how to you know manufacturers already and stuff like that, then you can go the manufacturer route. At the same time, I would recommend you check out some other videos, see if you can, you know, get some testimonials, and then just make up your own mind. As a designer, you know, and as a creative, you have to learn how to, god damn it, a lot of talking. As a designer and a creative, you have to learn how to trust your instincts and make your own decisions. It's good to research, but a YouTube video should only ever be that. You shouldn't watch a YouTube video and be like, oh, Nav said this, so I'm gonna do that. No. Get other opinions, pull them together, source them together, and then make an opinion of your own. All right? All right. That's going to be it from your boy. You don't know. CFT. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. I'm supposed to say safety after. Yeah, you don't know. CFT.
Nice story view, I can see the whole strip. Jumped out the whip, glasses on like a nip, breaking bread with my